Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
House of horrors. 7 children taken from this filthy home. More on how they were found. Mara?
We've got more fallout tonight from those secret recordings of Warren Mayor Jim Fouts, and it got tense.
All right, Mara, also powerful winds and power outages. Gusts up to 60 miles an hour are causing problems across Metro Detroit. We're going to start there tonight at 11. Glad you're with us. We just got an update from DTE Energy, and they tell us 32,000 customers without power tonight, and that's a number that's expected to go up.
And those high winds will linger into the morning. Ben's here now, and Ben, the wind isn't the only concern.
No, we've got another headache that's going to follow us into the commute tomorrow, but right now we're seeing some of the highest wind gusts that we have seen all night. 47, 48 miles an hour winds here in Metro Ann Arbor. Adrian's at 48. Only slightly better out here on the east side. City Airport at 44. A couple spots did hit the 50 mile an hour mark earlier tonight. But as far as widespread numbers that are close to that, this is pretty much what you see is what you get. Now, the computer models have us decreasing those winds pretty quickly, at least towards daybreak, but they will still be breezy overnight. And by the time we wake up tomorrow morning, we'll be looking at gusts probably only in the 15 mile an hour range, which is a huge improvement. High wind warnings technically in effect until 4 a.m. But as we go towards the morning, look at where temperatures go. They'll be crashing down to the upper 20s. So all that slush that's still around tonight is going to be freezing in spots, especially on untreated roads. At least the winds will be lighter. They'll pick up in the afternoon. We'll tell you where temperatures go from here. All that in your 4-zone forecast coming up, guys.
Okay, Ben, our other big story tonight, no heat, no running water, and filthy living conditions. That's how Detroit police say they found 7 young children living.
In fact, these are the images from inside the house on Livernois, just off I-75 in southwest Detroit. Jermont Terry live at Children's Hospital, where the children were brought in for observation. Jermont?
Devin, the youngest child is 11 months. The oldest is 7 years old. Now, when police stormed into that house on Livernois, they could tell by looking at the children, not to mention the filthy living conditions of that house, that the brothers and sisters needed to see a doctor. This rundown house with broken windows and no gas is where DPD found a family of 9 living off Livernois in southwest Detroit.
There were no utilities, there were no heat, no food, no water. The conditions were unlivable.
Yet 7 children lived like this. There were no beds, no working toilets, feces throughout the house, and even a dead dog.
This is the worst that I've ever seen.
DPD's Narcotics Division came here to serve a warrant, but that warrant uncovered something bigger than drugs.
At that point, our focus shifted from a narcotic investigation to obviously a child welfare investigation.
Local 4 cameras were rolling when EMS carried the children out of the house. The kids were wrapped in blankets, then checked out in an ambulance.
Appeared to be glad to see us.
Police say the children's mother, seen here carrying the youngest child, who's only 11 months, did not realize she needed help.
I don't know how she did. That's crazy.
Neighbors tell me they had no idea 7 children or anyone lived here.
I'm glad that they showed up, and help the kids, because if not, who knows what would have happened to them.
So this isn't about breaking the family up. This is about trying to get them the help that's needed.
And tonight it's unclear how long the children survived living in those filthy conditions, but what is clear, they are safe, being checked out by doctors and in the care of Child Protective Services tonight. Reporting live, Jermont Terry, Local 4.
All right, Jermont. Tensions ran high in Warren tonight as city council members debated what to do about secret recordings believed to be of Mayor Jim Fouts. Mara McDonald is live in Warren tonight. And Mara, there was discussion about trying to force the mayor to take a voice recognition test. Whatever became of that?
Well, nothing. And man, did that end up getting council members hot at each other. Take a listen.
You're interrupting. Please, we're asking him. You're totally out of control. Please not yourself.
Council members going at each other over why agenda items dealing with the leaked Fouts audio tapes were not up for discussion.
Let's put this to rest.
In the end, the council will do nothing about those recordings. They say they don't have the authority to do so. An answer that did not sit well with Pastor Mo Hardwick. He's had a sit down with Mayor Fouts since the tape broke and has not seen any action.
He's hunkering down and playing hide go seek. Then he has his cronies in here on city council, when you have real councilmen and women who are trying to bring the issue to the table to be dealt with so the people of Warren can rest on this.
Tonight's council meeting had far fewer in attendance. The last go-round had about 100 people, utterly furious. This time, not even half of that. And while there were plenty who are still angry,
you are afraid to take a stand for the truth, and you are afraid of the mayor, in my opinion.
The mayor does have his defenders who don't believe he could ever say such horrible things.
And I truly do not believe that this is Mr. Fouts speaking.
Back here live, important to point out that multiple voice recognition experts say it is indeed Warren Mayor Jim Fouts. But all this drama here at council really is, quite frankly, the minor part of the fallout right now. Today, a group of business leaders and attorneys launched a petition drive to try and limit Fouts's term limits extension that would allow him to run again for political office. And we're waiting on a report from the Michigan Secretary of State to see whether Mayor Fouts violated any laws by having tickets to his State of the City address benefit a political action committee that he is affiliated with. We are expecting that report from the Secretary of State within the next 24 to 48 hours. We are live in Warren tonight. I'm Mara McDonald. Local 4.
All right, Mara. Convicted of the Charleston church shooting, Dylan Roof was sentenced to death today by a federal jury. 22-year-old white supremacist is the first to be ordered executed for a federal hate crime. He never pleaded for his life nor showed any remorse. Before deliberations, he told the jury, and this is the quote, "I still feel like I had to do it." A judge will formally sentence Roof tomorrow.
A New Jersey man is facing child porn charges in several states, including the state of Michigan. 49-year-old Sherman Miller was indicted on 12 counts. The investigation began in Atlantic City last February, but spread when the feds learned he allegedly victimized children in these 8 highlighted states. The feds say he sent pictures and videos to children and convinced some of them to send back photos of themselves. The victims range in age from 9 to 14.
In 10 days, the United States is going to have a new president.
Tonight, President Obama said his farewell address to the nation. He had the crowd on their feet for most of the speech, which at times moved him and his family to tears, especially when he thanked his wife, Michelle, for taking on the role of First Lady.
You made the White House a place that belongs to everybody. And a new generation sets its sights higher because it has you as a role model.
He also thanked Vice President Joe Biden, saying he gained a brother over the years. And President Obama talked about the most important position in the United States government, and that's the role of citizen.
And he said that while he is saying goodbye as president, he plans to still be around.
My fellow Americans, it has been the honor of my life to serve you. I won't stop. In fact, I will be right there with you as a citizen for all my remaining days.
Well, tomorrow morning, President-elect Donald Trump will hold his first news conference. Local 4 and Click on Detroit will have live coverage starting at 11 a.m. Before attending the president's farewell address, Vice President Joe Biden spent the day in Detroit.
Toured the auto show and talked with entrepreneurs at the Motor City Match event to inspire them in their business ventures, which is a great, great program.
Well, before his big speech tomorrow, Donald Trump is lashing out tonight about a report on what Russia might know about the soon-to-be president. You'll see his response coming up.
Also, it's not jewelry nor antiques. What thieves took from these broken display cases far more dangerous, and police say the owner is to blame. Karen?
It was like she just vanished into thin air.
She's exuberant, she's funny, she's silly.
And now she's gone. The mystery to what happened to Danielle Stizlitsky grows. The defenders go step by step into her disappearance. Next.
On the next. What happened to Danielle Stizlitsky?
I feel that she didn't just walk away.
Her car left behind, certain items missing, and a local home searched. Tonight, the defenders go inside the investigation. It has been 39 days, 39 sleepless nights. Danielle Stizlitsky's parents have been hoping for an answer, trying to figure out what happened to their daughter.
Tonight, Local 4 defender Karen Drew takes us inside the investigation, sharing some information you may not know about this missing local woman.
It's truly a mystery on what was taken and what was left behind. Left behind, her car and money. Taken, her cell phone and car keys. Let's go back to December 2nd, the day the mystery began.
This is where Danielle Stizlicki was last seen, leaving her job at MetLife at the 25,000 block of Telegraph in Southfield. It was a typical day at work for the 28-year-old. Her plan after work, to meet a friend for dinner.
That particular day, she was scheduled to work longer. And because things were a little slow, she asked, after getting a request from a friend, whether or not it'd be okay if she left early.
I think the last text message was confirmation to her friend that yes, I have been able to get off early. Let me swing home real quick, pack a bag, and I'll meet you there.
It was about 5 o'clock. Danielle walked out of her Southfield office and headed to her car, a mud-covered Jeep Renegade.
Think about when you were sitting in traffic, when you were driving. Did you see or happen to see the somewhat dirty vehicle? Did you happen to see Danielle?
Now, what happened next is unclear. She never showed up for dinner and never communicated to her friend.
Danielle just doesn't randomly not show up.
Danielle's friend was so worried, she went to her apartment complex the following day at 6 p.m.
This is where Danielle lived, the Independence apartment complex on Halstead Road in Farmington Hills. Her Jeep Renegade was found parked just 8 feet from her door. Her purse left in the SUV. Police aren't sure if Danielle or someone else drove the Jeep to her apartment.
I feel that she didn't just walk away.
Police say it's highly suspicious that Danielle's Samsung Galaxy Core Prime with a rose gold case is missing, along with her keys with this very unique charm.
Our concern is that Danielle is somewhere being held, not by her choice.
Days pass, no word.
28-year-old Danielle Stizlicki has been missing now for 5 days.
At this point, media attention is growing in the state and nationally. K-9 units, choppers frantically looking for Danielle. Not only the Farmington Hills Police on this case, but Oakland County Sheriffs, MSP, and the FBI.
December 19th, police announced they believe Danielle has been a victim of a crime.
This is the Eddie Bauer 3-in-1 jacket. This should be exactly what she was wearing.
Reminding the public what Danielle was wearing when she was last seen. Then, December 22nd, law enforcement descend on this home on the 2900 block of Oxford Street in Berkeley. The search is on. Sources confirming a mattress along with other items are taken out of this home. Who lives here? A former security guard that was contracted to work at the MetLife office Danielle worked, but was not currently working there. Danielle's photo and name have been shared thousands of times on social media, her family begging for someone to come forward with answers.
From the deepest of my heart, help us bring Danielle home.
A vigil will be held in Danielle's honor January 12th from 7 to 8 at the Redford VFW, post 345. The family wants to keep her story and her disappearance in the spotlight, so hopefully someone will come forward with answers. I'm Karen Drew, Local 4 Defenders.
Should point out, too, there's a huge reward for information leading to an arrest in this, over $100,000.
Gut-wrenching for the family.
Yeah, hopefully somebody knows something. Here's a look at what Hank Winchester is working on for tomorrow night.
It happened 1 year ago.
There's no water, there's no filter at many stations. People outside tell us that they feel helpless, they feel stranded.
Now Help Me Hank demanding more answers for the people of Flint.
What would you say to the people in Flint?
Now we're back in Flint, revealing new information about the battle for clean water and showing you what happened to the young boy who became the face of this crisis. Tomorrow at 11.
Well, you've just been screaming for attention all day today, man. Starting out with the snow that made a mess of the morning rush. Now we've got all kinds of power outages.
Yeah, the wind.
Just needing some love, are you?
Hey, look at me.
Yeah, really.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to be grabbing your attention for a while because I wanted to show you high temperatures. This is what we hit this afternoon. 48 degrees at Metro and most of the east side. This was the warmest that we've seen since the day after Christmas. And of course, the wind gusts are almost matching our high temperatures right now, which are in the mid to upper 40-mile-per-hour range. Current temperatures, though, have already started to slide into the 30s. You can see how this colder air is just barreling in behind the front. That has brought some of those fast winds. In fact, only a few select locations are still hanging on to the 40s right now. And by the time we get towards tomorrow morning, look what we've got to look forward to. 20s out there on the other side of Lake Michigan. Milwaukee 24, Chicago 26. It's already near freezing on this side of the lake. And of course, we will be seeing those colder temperatures here, likely just about everybody in the 20s tomorrow. So the treated plowed roads should be okay tomorrow as those temperatures drop, but a lot of those side streets where the slush is still hanging out are going to be a frozen sheet of ice when the temperatures drop tomorrow morning. Not much left as far as the radar goes. A couple snowflakes up here, maybe a snow shower in Sanilac County mixing with some rain. That's going to be out of here in about an hour or so. And then we're going to be dry as we get through the start of tomorrow. Maybe even see some sunshine early before the clouds start increasing again going into the second half of Wednesday. We've got another front coming through that is going to be bringing rain as temperatures go back to the 40s, but also could be seeing some gusty winds, not quite as high as what we saw today. And then we'll see everything calm down just a little bit as we get into Thursday. So let's take a look now at our 4-zone forecast. These are low temperatures tonight, what we're going to be waking up to tomorrow morning, mid to upper 20s here on the east side. Considering that we got up to 48 today, that is going to be a switch to say the least. 24 to 26 is what we're looking at in the south zone. West zone temperatures tomorrow morning, pretty much the same goes, 24 to 25. And then our coldest spots will be here in our north zone. A couple areas maybe dropping down to 23 up there in Sanilac County by the start of our Wednesday morning. Look at the highs again. Back to the mid 40s. It is going to be another late high temperature, likely around 8 o'clock. And again, we're expecting to see some rain towards the tail end of tomorrow. But numbers are going to be much colder over the weekend. 20s for highs Friday and Saturday. A lot of teens for lows before we go back to the 40s on Monday and Tuesday. Mother Nature doesn't want us to get in a rut here. You know?
Keep us on our toes.
We got to keep everything interesting.
Seems no danger of that. All right, Ben. A warning for parents tonight as you work to keep your kids from catching the cold or the flu. Experts reveal the germiest places at school.
And it wasn't just Hillary Clinton. U.S. intelligence officials say Russian spies also targeted President-elect Donald Trump. What they uncovered next.
Look.
Mentioned Donald Trump's news conference coming up tomorrow. Safe bet that this will be one of the topics addressed. Classified documents were presented to President Obama and President-elect Trump claiming Russian operatives have compromising personal and financial information about the president-elect. It was compiled by a former British intelligence operative from MI5. According to the report, Russia compiled information to harm both political parties, but only released information about Hillary Clinton. Also alleges the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government. The FBI is investigating the credibility and accuracy of the allegations. President-elect responded with this tweet saying, quote, "Fake news, a total political witch hunt." Spokespeople for the FBI and the Director of National Intelligence have declined to comment thus far.
A gun store is robbed, and now police are blaming the store's owner for the smash and grab. It took 2 minutes for the thieves to get inside the Lakeland, Florida store, kick through the glass case, and steal dozens of guns. The sheriff says he warned the owner to increase security a month ago after an increase in robberies in the area, but was ignored. The owner apologized to the public. Meanwhile, the thieves and all those guns are on the streets.
Just in time for cold and flu season, the CDC has released a list of the germiest, I believe that's a word, germiest places in schools. Supplies tend to be pretty germy, including pencil sharpeners, because those aren't typically wiped down and used by a lot of people, of course. Remind kids to keep their book bags out of the bathrooms, which of course remain one of the germiest places in school. And the CDC warns about book nooks or library corners in the classroom. Pillows can be a breeding ground, not only for germs, but lice too.
Cops caught a drug dealer with some good police work and a conveniently located patch of ice. Michigan State Police pulled over a man for following too closely on I-75 in Wayne County. When searching his car, the man ran off. After a brief chase, the man slipped on some ice and fell. He was arrested, and in the search, police found 2.5 pounds of marijuana that was being taken from Detroit to Cleveland. That man is now facing charges.
Whoops.
Good. I'll say. Yeah.